Hi guys, my name is Erin Riley, and today I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a background on Benjamin Bloom and his taxonomy of educational objectives. Before I go into things, first I want you to think back to when you were a student. Did you ever have a teacher who seemed like they were against you? Like no matter what you did or how hard you tried, your work just wasn't good enough for them and it seemed as if their grading was extremely unfair? I think we've all had a teacher at one point or another similar to that. I remember I used to have a teacher in high school who would help certain students cheat on their tests in order to raise their grades just because he liked them. But other students, he would purposefully try to lower their grades just because he liked them less than the others. He even went so far as to lose a stack of their homework and claimed they didn't even turn it in. This, of course, discouraged all students from even trying in his classes. No one had any interest in learning because no matter how hard you tried, you would get the grade he wanted to give you. No one learned anything in his classes, which is the exact opposite of how school should work. I even know that personally, I didn't learn anything in his classes because I was one of the students that he wanted to do well. So I didn't feel like that I had to really try because I knew he was going to give me a good grade no matter what. But students should always try their hardest and always be given a fair shot. Benjamin Bloom, however, was highly against this type of behavior in educators. He wished the best for all students no matter what, and was considered an educational activist. He developed his taxonomy after attending a series of conferences that went from 1949 to 1953, which sparked his inspiration for the taxonomy. The goal of this taxonomy was to show educators the importance of strengthening students' skills in all three categories, rather than primarily focusing on just one. This provided a way for teachers to more accurately assess their students and create more measurable goals or objectives for them. I know that personally, as a student, if I see that I have a goal or I see an objective, I'm more likely to want to achieve it. If I'm just doing homework for like busy work or just doing homework just to do homework, just so the teacher has something to assign for us, I'm not going to want to do it. But if I know that I'm actually trying to learn something, trying to gain something like real world information, trying to gain knowledge, I'm going to be so much more into learning. The three level parts of Bloom's taxonomy's hierarchy are affective, psychomotor, and cognitive. Bloom found it to be important to incorporate all of these in the classroom equally, rather than just focusing on one. However, due to the nature of learning, he expanded most into the cognitive aspect. The cognitive part consists of 6 levels ranked from the simplest to the most complex, consisting of knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. It might be helpful to dive deeper into what these 6 levels really are. Knowledge, for one, simply focuses on recalling past information learned. The next level, comprehension, shows that you truly do know the knowledge. Application, obviously, is being able to apply the knowledge you have learned. Analyzing is being able to examine information and make inferences or generalizations. This includes analyzing various elements, relationships, and organizational principles. Next, synthesis is putting together information in a new way and creating new patterns or solutions for something. And lastly, evaluation is being able to present and defend opinions. Now, from my high school experience, I know I keep going back to that, but it's all I have to go off of. In my high school experience, I don't remember teachers basing our learning off of these 6 aspects. Sure, like they wanted us to know the knowledge, but it seemed like it was mostly test-based. They wanted us to have the information memorized, and they wanted us to be able to take a test on it. And to me, that is not very effective. And Bloom did not find that very effective either, because if you're learning the information for a one-time test, you just want to get a good grade, that's all you want, you're not going to remember it after you take the test. Maybe you'll remember it for your final exam, but after that, you're not going to remember it because the information, you never applied it. You never did anything other than memorize it. You never learned why it was important to know. You never learned how it's going to help you once you graduate high school or once you go home at the end of the day. So it's very important to keep in mind these 6 aspects of the taxonomy. Aside from Bloom's taxonomy, he also uses advocacy to research different aspects of education. For one, he believed it was hard work that made someone successful rather than natural intelligence. For example, he conducted a study that showed in most cases, you must have at least 10 years of experience in any field to gain recognition. This means that it does not matter where you start, anyone can learn if you give it enough time. This is also why he believes students should always be given second chances in order for them to truly understand what they are learning. Again, in high school, we were never really given second chances. It was kind of like the test was a one and done deal, and it was one of those things that if enough of the class did bad on the test, the teacher would let us all take it again, but that just seemed pointless, and they wanted us just to get better grades. This also meant that Bloom was extremely for assessing student learning, but not necessarily through giving grades. I know that when I was a student, I felt absolutely overwhelmed and pressured by grades, and I felt rushed to understand certain topics that I could have easily understood given more time and a little more instruction. Educators should absolutely look to Benjamin Bloom as an example for how to care for students. Aside from everything I listed earlier, he even helped found the Head Start program, which allowed preschool-age students an opportunity at education, even if they couldn't afford it. When Bloom was a child, he was aware that his parents had moved from Russia to America due to the fact they were Jewish and being oppressed. Therefore, to Bloom, America was a land of freedom and opportunity. Growing up, Bloom would constantly go to the library and read books within the span of a day. He yearned to soak up as much knowledge as humanly possible. It even got to the point where the librarian would quiz him on what he read to see if he was actually reading all the books that he checked out, because it just didn't seem possible that a child could read this much. Bloom loved to learn, and therefore he wanted to make all of his students love learning as well. I believe, and Bloom believed, if teachers show they care for their students and make learning fair for them, students will be much more inclined to enjoy learning just like Bloom did. I know that if I had more teachers that held these same values as Bloom, I would have enjoyed school so much more and would currently retain so much more of what I learned in high school. Instead, I don't remember a whole lot of what I learned, and it all feels like an overwhelming blur to me. Our goals as educators should be to ensure our students are at least getting something out of our class, just like Bloom believed. All students are capable, and we need to be aware of that, and our students should be aware of that.